Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to take you on a journey back to my first 10 platinums I ever earned. Back to the year 2009, over 16 years ago.
First one to touch the ground
is gay.
This was the moment when the gift of trophies was bestowed upon me. Or maybe it was a curse. Who's to say? Either way, my fate as a trophy collector was sealed. And my social life, well, let's just say, it never stood a chance. Okay, so I actually have 298 platinums now, so if you want to see 28 more videos like this coming in the future, please consider subscribing. Let's get to the game that broke my platinum virginity. The first platinum I ever earned was for Call of Duty World at War. I unlocked it at the very reasonable hour of 4:23 AM on January 31st, 2009, because, you know, sleep is for the weak. For those who don't know, World at War is a brutal World War II shooter that introduced the legendary Call of Duty Zombies mode. But more importantly, this game is one of the reasons I probably failed my GCSEs. Honestly, if dodging grenades was a subject, I would have had straight A's. Time to platinum, 25 hours. Back in 2009, this was nothing. I had all of the free time in the world. Now, if a game takes more than 10 hours to platinum, I have to schedule it like a dentist appointment. The difficulty of this platinum is about an 8 out of 10, which honestly would have been about a 3 out of 10 if this game didn't shove grenades into every orifice on my body. Then find new orifices to shove more grenades into. Orifices or orifici, I don't know, but World of War sure as hell did. The hardest part of this platinum is completing the campaign on veteran difficulty, which in theory means play the game but harder. In reality, it means try to survive while the AI develops a personal vendetta against you. Sometimes you'd be hiding behind cover feeling safe, only for some soldier to hit a pixel perfect headshot through the gap the size of a tic tac. Other times grenades would rain down on you like confetti at a New Year's Eve party, except instead of celebrating, you were being violently evicted from existence. Oh, and let's not forget about the Shoot 45 Planes trophy. I have trauma from this one. The margin for error was so small. I think I actually developed anxiety from it, and to make things worse, back in the PS3 days, trophies didn't pop instantly. So after all of that stress, you just sit there staring at the screen, wondering if the trophy registered or if you had to do it all over again. I've actually got an anecdote from this game. Now let me tell you about the moment I realized I absolutely suck under pressure. In 2009, my childhood friend actually sees I've got this ultra rare platinum and calls me up and says, "Hey, can you finish the last few veteran levels for me?" Me, in my overconfident teenage arrogance, was like, "Psst, easy, give me 30 minutes. Big mistake. He brings his PS3 over and I sit down to finish what I assumed would be a casual victory lap. Instead, I got grenaded into oblivion. I was basically a human meatball Mariana getting sandwiched between explosions every 2 seconds. I spent a full hour stuck on this same checkpoint, dying in every possible way the game could invent. I swear even a bird flew by one time and shot me. Eventually, he left, no platinum, no victory, just shame. To this day, I wonder if he still holds a grudge, just waiting for the right moment, waiting in the shadows, ready to throw a grenade at me when least expected. This one's a twofer, so platinum number 2 and 3 was for Burnout Paradise and Burnout Paradise Remaster, because why not buy the same game twice but with shinier graphics and a higher price tag? Burnout Paradise is an open world racing game set in the fictional Paradise City. This is where you get to drive like a maniac, race like a speed demon and destroy anything that stands in your way, all while jamming out to the best soundtrack in gaming history. The platinum took around 15 hours to grab, and every minute of it was pure joy, unless you were one of the poor NPCs that I plowed into multiple times. Rest in peace, random pedestrians. According to PSN profiles, this game's trophy difficulty is a 3 out of 10, but honestly, I think that's a bit generous. Some of those trophies have more bugs than a haunted house on Halloween night. There's no racing game quite like Burnout. This series is legendary. It's like that one friend who shows up to the party dressed in leather and leaves a trail of broken hearts and probably a few broken bones. Seriously, how is there no new one? We need more of this, a world where we can destroy everything in sight and be rewarded for it. The Burnout series is what happens when you realize your driving instructor isn't looking, and you take full advantage of that. Some of my favorite trophies are the ones you had to smash through anything in sight. Cars, smash billboards, smash your self-control, yeah, you guessed it. Smash everything. You get to test your barrel roll skills, because clearly every car should be able to do a barrel roll. You even get to jump over another player's car for a trophy.
Burnout Paradise is the perfect example of a game that knew exactly what we wanted. Cool cars, an epic soundtrack, and that sweet satisfaction of demolishing everything in your path. It's like an Amish teenager on Rumspringa. Freedom, chaos, and questionable decisions. Me and my siblings played this a bunch when we were growing up. We definitely put in some serious hours, and even my mum got to know the Guns N' Roses song because of this game. This is an instant classic. My third ever platinum, but number 4th on this list, is Fallout 3, a game that threw me into a post-apocalyptic world where the only thing more dangerous than the radroaches were my terrible decisions. Fallout 3 is an open-world RPG set in a post-apocalyptic Washington DC 200 years after the world got nuked. Imagine if Fallout was set in a world where you could find a decent salad, and the air smells like a mix of old pizza and burning plastic. Ah, the good old days. When this game came out, I was still pretty young and getting into trophies. I only found out about Fallout 3 because I was stalking some PSN friend's profile. Don't pretend like you've never done it. And when I seen them, I knew I had to have them. Fallout 3 blew my mind. It's like that game version of the one cousin who's been traveling the world and telling you way too many stories that make you feel like your life's been super boring. There's so much detail, the world feels alive even if it's decaying around you. Exploring it was like trying to find a needle in a haystack at times, except that haystack was full of radioactive mutants and crumbling buildings. Now this game requires 40 hours to platinum and the difficulty is a 5 out of 10, which is like it's not too hard but don't get cocky difficulty. Like trying to make toast but forgetting about it for like a solid 10 minutes. Not impossible but definitely could be disastrous. And let's talk about the bobblehead trophy. I love it. It's one of those trophies that feels like you've been sent on a wild goose chase, except the geese are tiny little collectible figures. It's like a trophy hunt but instead of treasure it's creepy little nodding heads. Well hey, I talked about this trophy more in my top 10 platinums every trophy hunter must have. So please go check that one if you haven't already. Number 5 on my list is Quantum of Solace. And no, it's not the name of the world's most pretentious coffee shop. It's actually the James Bond game. Quantum of Solace released in 2008, a first-person shooter with some third-person cover mechanics, and probably the only James Bond game where you don't have to worry about getting caught by your parents playing it. It's based on the Bond films Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, but don't ask me to explain the plot because when I think about it, I think I get them mixed up with Mission Impossible sometimes. It's all explosions and fancy tuxedos, right? I bought this online the same time as I bought Mirror's Edge, and spoiler alert, I never actually finished the Mirror's Edge Platinum. Speedrunning in that game requires a certain level of patience that as a teenage boy, I simply did not have. My attention span was basically that of a squirrel on caffeine. Meanwhile, Quantum of Solace had me hooked. Probably because as a Brit, I was contractually obligated to like James Bond. Seriously, there's a clause in our national anthem or something about it. This game takes about 30 hours to complete and with a difficulty of 5 out of 10. It's not hard enough to make you break your controller, but it's not easy enough to make you feel like you're actually good at gaming. I remember when I got this game, I was quite a noob trophy hunter, just blindly stumbling through missions like a Bond villain's henchman who's terrible at his job. I spent so much time just unlocking trophies through pure trial and error. I bought this because I loved GoldenEye 64 as a kid, and when I saw this was one of the few games at the time with trophy support, I thought, why not? I needed an excuse to throw more time into a game where I pretend to be suave while probably dying a lot. I need to give this game another go. Once I get back to England, I'm totally buying a PS3 again and revisiting some of these old games. I don't think this game's got too many fans. I just tried CAX right now and it's worth £2.50, but I'll still grab it. Unfortunately for any new trophy hunters out there, the online trophies are totally dead. When looking back at this game, I totally forgot there was kill 1000 people in online games trophy. I was probably too busy accidentally knifing the air while trying to shoot people in the face. I definitely didn't boost any of these trophies because back then I had no idea what even boosting was. I just thought the internet was full of pop-up ads and dial-up sounds. Actually thinking about it, if Quantum of Solace came out now, I'd probably hate it. All the online trophies, I'd be like, wait, I'm supposed to spend 10 hours unlocking stuff in multiplayer? No thanks. I got TikTok to scroll through. Platinum number 6 is Prince of Persia from 2008, and let me just say, this game is like if Aladdin and Bob Ross had a baby. This was the good old Ubisoft days. They decided to take a beloved franchise and slap a new coat of paint on it. Released in 2008, Prince of Persia is a bold reboot of the series, featuring a brand new prince with hair that defies physics, a watercolor art style that looks like the game was painted by a caffeinated Picasso, and most importantly, no fall damage. That's right folks, no falling to your death in this game, because the sidekick Alika will catch you every time like the world's most dedicated unpaid intern. No matter how many times you mess up, she's always got your back and lets you live to the next questionable jump. The difficulty is rated at a 2 out of 10, which in theory sounds easy, but in practice the game took me 15 hours to beat. But I swear I spent 50 hours just collecting those 1001 light seeds. Yeah, 1001, that's right. It's like they handed me a bag of seeds and said, good luck buddy, you're on your own. I think I spent more time searching for those seeds than the police did searching for Madeleine McCann. I actually love this game though. It's fun, it tries interesting things, and it doesn't make you feel like you're drowning in difficulty. Unlike most other platformers that laugh in your face when you miss a jump. I ended up 100%ing it on both PlayStation and Xbox 360. Yeah, you heard that right, 360 too. Ubisoft could have made a DLC that was literally just collecting light seeds and I probably still would have loved it. So I did say you could die as many times as you want in this game, but I kinda lied because there's a trophy where you can only be saved by a magical sidekick less than 100 times. And let me tell you, that was a real challenge because Alika, bless her heart, she kinda becomes like one of those safety nets you see on the iPhone factory to stop you from the sweet release of hitting the ground. The best part, there were no online trophies in this game, so no one has to ruin their lives grinding out multiplayer nonsense. It's just you, Alika, and a bunch of magical platforms. If you haven't played this, I highly recommend checking it out. So platinum number 7 today is Buzz Quiz TV, because nothing says I'm a serious gamer like a game where you scream at your family over who can name the capital of Zimbabwe the fastest. Released in 2008, Buzz Quiz TV is a party trivia game that turns your living room into a low budget game show. Now, the time to platinum this game is around 50 hours, and it's a solid 3 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. And let me tell you, time will fly if you're playing with people who actually care about trivia. But, and this is a big but, you have to win 50 online games. The problem with this at first was that if you played online against other people, they could easily just go on their phone, on their laptop and cheat. And problem number 2, the servers are actually shut down now, so those online trophies are gone. They are as achievable as me winning an Olympic gold. My family all had a blast with this game at the time. It was so satisfying to hit that buzzer like you were on Price is Right. I would find these obscure games on movies and I would bring them to my family and they would always get so involved in them. When none of them had really bothered about video games in the past, I was the only gamer in the household. So this is what made this game a bit more special to me and why I remember it so fondly. Now I thought I would check up the price on this game because it came with buzzers and I was wondering if they were still knocking around. I actually remember buying this for 20 quid on sale at the time. I don't think it was actually selling that well. But now fast forward to today and the buzzer peripherals alone are selling for 30 quid. I should have hung on to it for the nostalgia. Who knew that this game would actually be worth more now than it did before? I guess that's what happens with a lot of games now. I think this game was a bit ahead of its time because now we have Jackbox collections that are doing really well. I think PlayStation kinda classed this game as dead now. I don't think there's a way back for this franchise. Platinum number 8 is FIFA 09. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, FIFA, really? But don't skip ahead, this one's got a story. Released in 2008, FIFA 09 was EA Sports' attempt to make football feel more realistic, more fluid, and more frustratingly unfair than ever before. Because nothing stays fun like a game where a ball magically teleports through your defender's legs at the last second and you miss an open goal from 2 inches away. And let's not even talk about the referees. I've seen more consistency in the weather in England than in a FIFA match. This game was rated a solid 6 out of 10 for difficulty and could take up to 100 hours to platinum. Keyword could, because the servers have been shut down for so long, achieving those trophies is now as possible as getting a refund from EA. And don't even get me started on the duo hexadecimal trophy. They clearly thought they could trust the FIFA community and their servers. Spoiler alert, they could not. You needed 20 people in one server playing as each outfield player on each team. 20 players, all in the same server. Have you ever tried to organize 20 people who are all as confused as a confused penguin on roller skates? This was us. It took hours to get everyone into the same lobby and then to actually load into the game? Forget it. My internet back in 2009 was basically held together by sheer willpower and a prayer. The connection was worse than trying to make a call on a landline that's tangled in 200 feet of extension cord. But honestly, what else can I say about this game? It's FIFA at the end of the day. The game that brings together the world's most passionate fans, only to have them argue about how soulless and money-grabbing Ultimate Team has become. Wait, that's kinda like real football though. EA kinda nailed it. Platinum number 9 is Resident Evil 5. Released in 2009, Resident Evil 5 is a game where you get to shoot zombies in Africa with Chris Redfield, the human equivalent of a muscle car, and his partner Shiva Alamar. Together they take on a bioterrorism outbreak caused by a virus that sounds like it was named after a failed energy drink. The whole thing feels like an action movie, except instead of explosions and car chases, it's mostly running, shooting, and a whole lot of awkward partner AI moments. Like, how does Shiva not even know how to open a door? It's literally her job, right? This game is a 4 to 10 difficulty and takes about 30 hours to finish, which I guess is the perfect amount of time to grow attached to your partner, only to realize you'll never see them in a Resident Evil game again. So here's the thing, the same friend I mentioned in my Call of Duty story was like, hey, let's get this together. And I thought, sure, why not? He also introduced me to 3 other amazing PS3 games. He was actually a fantastic friend, but sadly, just like in this time period, we fell out of touch like the Resident Evil series. When I played this, I'd never touched a Resident Evil game before, so it was like jumping straight into a pool full of sharks, but you know, in a good way. It was fun, but after going back and playing other games in the series, Resident Evil 5 kind of feels like the movie spin-off. Like, yeah, it's good, but you can tell it's not going to win any Oscars. Now let me tell you something, these trophies, chef's kiss, mwah. They look so good that you can almost forget how brutal they are to get. The trophies are basically saying, yeah, you can get this platinum, but first you gotta do some serious work. I just like when it looks like the developers put in a bit of effort in this area. And here we are in time for my last platinum of this video, and it is Little Big Planet. This game that made me feel like a creative genius, even though my idea of creativity back then was drawing stick figures on the back of my math homework. Released in 2008, this game blew my tiny brain wide open. You could create your own levels, play other people's levels, and most importantly, do all of it with 2 to 4 friends. So it felt like a full-on group therapy session. Seriously, playing this game felt like that one time at a party when you realize the people you're hanging out with are way cooler than you. But instead of that awkward I don't belong here moment, Little Big Planet made everyone feel like a platforming pro, even if they were still terrible at it. In this game, you're controlling an adorable little sack boy or sack girl if you're feeling like breaking some gender norms, in a platformer that was, like, let's be honest, way too advanced for its own good. It was like Media Molecule decided to pack 15 ideas into one game. You want platforming? Sure. You want creation? Absolutely. You want your sackboy to have a side gig as an interior decorator? You bet. The platform was a little floaty in places, but I can't really blame the developers for this, they were trying so much. I remember Christmas 2008 like it was yesterday. I got Little Big Planet alongside Uncharted Drake's Fortune. What a time it was. Since researching for this video and looking at all my old games again, I was like, damn, I want to buy this again. I kept doing that with a few other games in here, but when I was looking at this case in particular, it brings back so many memories. And don't hate on me for this, but I actually kind of like that black strip down the left side. I've got to say, the future iterations of these PS3 cases were way better, but I've still got the nostalgia for this old design. You can pick up this game now for only £2. That's basically me stealing at this point. The servers are down, but I don't care anymore. It's just the fact of owning it, and it's definitely worth more than £2 to me. Thinking back now, I was obviously a poor teenager, but like, I wish I hadn't sold some of the games that I had. But maybe those games that I traded in actually let me have new experiences in new games, so maybe it was all worth it, but I can still pick them up for cheap now, so no issues. I love the trophies of this game too, especially the Sackboy in Platinum form. Like, Media Molecule was out here flexing, showing us that even a plush toy could make a Platinum look good. Honestly, this trophy got me so gassed up back in the day. I just love the design of this one. And then there was another interesting trophy in this bunch too. It was called the Create Trophy. This trophy was basically the YouTube of gaming before YouTube even existed. Creating a level and uploading it like a video. Praying someone would watch it, but instead of views, you were chasing those sweet, sweet trophies. Little Big Planet was actually ahead of its time because YouTube had only released 3 years before this, and it had lots of features like YouTube did. I remember there was people with like millions of plays on levels and lots of hearts and things. It was kind of cool for the time, but I just don't think that kind of game works anymore, does it? Because if you skip ahead to 2025 now, Roblox is one of the most popular games in the world, and they're basically doing what Little Big Planet was doing years ago. But let's be honest, Roblox has a lot more creative liberties. I don't think Little Big Planet and Sony could have got away with the stuff that they get away with now. So anyway, that was my 10 platinums today. It takes a lot of time and effort to put these lists together, so if you enjoyed hearing me geek out about trophies again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, I want to know, did you manage to platinum any of these games? Drop a comment below and let me know. Maybe even tell me what your first platinum was. Catch you in the next video. Until then, happy trophy hunting. Bye everyone.